Okay, it looks like we're live. The title today for the live stream, let me bring it up here. Yeah, the title is Debt Rollover Will Test the Financial System in 2026. Record Treasury Issuance Expected. But we're also going to cover, of course, silver today because that's on everybody's mind, especially on this channel and in the precious metal space, and even in the overall financial markets. Even the crypto people are kind of crypto Bitcoin people are kind of upset that Bitcoin is lagging precious metals. Nice to see all of you here. We've got Rafi Farber and Philip Lowe. They're going to be joining us in about 7 minutes or so. And we have Raucus 3249 says thanks, Monaco 64. We got Anne Boris. Bonsoir from Versailles in France. Endurorama is here, over here. Just about Esquire says, hi, Monaco 64 and Rudy. There's Rudy. He's lying on the sofa. Good evening, Super Mario and the Rude Star. Yeah, Rude Star. We call him the Rudes sometimes, Rudy. Gianfranco Bergagna, Buona serata da Milano. Nice to see you here. Endurorama says exciting times. Hio Silver says hi to Chris Conman. I say hi to Chris Conman and Ohio Silver as well. Justin Taylor's here. Dutch Libertarian. He's a regular on the live streams. Yeah, so we're gonna have Rafi and Philip Lowe. So you guys can ask. Yeah, we'll try to answer most of your, hopefully as many questions as possible. We'll go through the debt situation first, but we can focus on silver. It should be an interesting open tonight at 6 p.m. Eastern or 11 p.m. GMT for the precious metals on the CME COMEX. Used to be called Globex. I remember trading Globex. Not sure they call it Globex anymore. Samantha 99313, she's a moderator. Thank you, Samantha. Says good evening. Dutch Libertarian, Rudy, and everyone here. I wish them a healthy, wealthy 2026. Yeah, same here. I wish everyone the same. Still morning in California. Yeah, it's 5 to noon in California. Patty Jones is in sunny, hot Florida. Well, here it's not sunny nor hot. It's for here it's pretty cold. It's been pretty cold. Cozy Fantute says, evening Mario. What a year we have. Uh, yeah, we have aged. Hmm. Yeah, everyone is aging, unfortunately. Well, not unfortunately, actually. That means you're getting by one more year. It's a good thing. Info Warrior 911. Good evening, Super Mario and the Root Star again. Steve Michaels. Hello, Mario. Greetings from Central Florida. Shyster 123. Thank you, Mario, for staying faithful to your channel and those who have listened to you over the years. Of course. Yeah, well, and I'm going to continue to do so. What do precious metals market? When do they open? Yeah, they open in about 3 hours, the futures market. I would say probably the same thing goes for the foreign exchange market in Asia because gold and silver are traded on the foreign exchange market. People think they're commodities, but the bankers view gold and silver as currency. And that's why the symbol is XAU and XAG. That's an FX thing, X. Dave Martin from Cornwall. Chris DeGroot says, hi, Mario. Mark Jacobs, when will Rule 589 come into play? Not sure what that one is. Is this one about the limit up on silver? I mean, we could have had limit up on Friday, but they didn't implement it. We were up like 10%. I think we were up $5 at least, silver or six. Um, Dad hand, Dad hand, Dad Hendant. Hey, Mario, ST Bullion stating 81.59. Well, that could be the futures price. A lot of people look at the futures price. On Friday, the close in the spot was 79.33. So, and I'm not sure if the futures is in backwardation right now. It might be. Relka says Rolex sucks. Cooking watches, when buying a watch stops feeling honest, the brand eventually pays the price. V Ranger, what will happen to price at open? Well, that's a good question. I don't know. I don't think anyone knows. I think it's going to be all over the place. And what I mean by that, it could open at like 100 and then come back down to 80. It's going to be really wild. But unless you were a futures trader, you shouldn't be concerned. If you've got your physical, and I've got some of my coins here today, it doesn't really matter. It's I was looking, the premiums here in the UK are huge. I know there's VAT, but even taking account of the VAT, there's not much silver, and there's a lot of dealers who have run out of silver here. Hi, Philip.
Hello, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year.
Yeah, Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. Nice to see you. Roth,
Thank you. I've rearranged my liquor bottles behind me since we last spoke. So,
have you? I didn't know.
well, I threw away. We during the a bunch of those bottles had like this much in them, so we polished them off during the holidays and
Oh,
replenished them
good.
with new.
Oh, that's good. So I'm just like saying hello to everyone on the, I
Oh, hello,
started
everyone.
early on the comment section. So let's
Oh, we're
see.
live already. All right,
Yeah,
wonderful.
yeah, we're live.
Hello,
Uh,
everybody.
someone, someone's saying, Phil, you've been here on the channel a few times, and your channel is on Rumble, right? Have you got a YouTube channel or not?
I do have a YouTube channel as well, but I'm primarily on Rumble.
Oh, okay, it's called the Bitter Draft.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah. And so, where do you think silver's going to open this
Oh,
evening?
that
Someone
was that
asked,
was
someone asked me, and I said it could open at 100, come back to 80. You don't know.
yeah. If I was I'm not a betting man. If I was a betting man, I would expect a dip when it opens. But
Yeah.
I'm not. I don't know. So uh,
Mm.
it's just I think we went up what 11% in a day, something like that. I mean, it was that was
10,
crazy.
yeah, 10, yeah. I
Yeah,
mean,
I've never seen anything like that. That was absolutely. I just kept checking every hour. It's like, oh, it's up another
yeah,
dollar. Oh, it's up
yeah.
another dollar.
And I remember about 2 weeks ago, this analyst from PAMP, is the Swiss, I think her name is Jan Scoyles or something, and she had her forecast for next year, and she said, "I see the high for silver at 78 in 2026," and I think silver was at 60 or 64 at
Yeah.
the time. And then I said, I think that might happen before the end of 2025. That was like December 17th. So, I mean, I'm not trying to brag, but I think this market is moving quicker than most people, understand and can imagine.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. I mean, if there is a dip, it's just going to be temporary. It's not like people are just going to give up on silver. In fact,
Mm,
this is my next video. My next video is going to be on the once it started spiking. If you go on Twitter now and you talk to other people, everyone's saying, "Oh, this is time to sell." We've
yeah.
never
Oh,
seen
there's
silver
so
this
many top
high.
callers, isn't there?
Yeah, there's a
Yeah.
whole bunch of stop callers, and my
Yeah.
my my thesis is they're entirely wrong. I mean, completely and utterly wrong. This is in fact a huge paradigm shift, but
Yeah,
it might be a very volatile one. So,
of course.
if tomorrow if it drops down to $45, they're all going to say, "See, we told you so." But
Yeah,
that doesn't mean it's going to languish for another 10, 15, 20 years at, around $45. And
yeah.
we just have to sit there, stare at it sitting there.
I don't think it's going to go down to 45 personally, but
Probably
you
not.
never know. But yeah, the title of the live stream, even though I think we're going to, everyone will want to talk about silver and ask questions, is the title is Debt Rollover Will Test the Financial System in 2026. Record Treasury issuance expected. I just wanted to put something a little different because everything's about silver these days. But we'll wait for Rafi to come. Oh, here he is. Uh,
No Clive today?
No, he's away on for Christmas and New
Oh
Year's.
yeah, I've seen him doing posh
Yeah,
posh walking tours of Switzerland. Yeah, he's
Bosch walking through. Hi, Rafi.
Hey Mario, hey Phil.
Hey
Um,
Rafi, good to see you again.
You
yeah, good to
too.
see you, Rafi. Yeah, I was saying I told the viewers already, they can ask questions today, and I think people will want to know about silver a lot. I mean, all the talk is about silver. So, Rafi, one question they've asked already is where do I think silver is going to open? And I said, well, it could open to 90, come back to 80. It could do anything, really.
Yeah, I have no
Yeah, we
idea.
are. We're in
And
uncharted territory. I said I'm not a betting man, but if I was a betting man, I would think it would probably dip tomorrow, just because it went up so high. But I don't know.
yeah, you never know.
I just saw an X that the rumor is that Atmex raised its spot prices by $1 on a weekend. I don't know if that's true or if that means anything or if Atmex is speculating or whatever. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm going to bring something up here because the title of the live stream is about the fact that we've got so much debt to be rolled over in 2026. And then we'll move on to silver. I saw this from Gary Bohm, Money, Metals and Miners, and he noted there's 9 trillion in treasuries to be rolled over in 2026, and there's a lot of corporate debt as well. So I think this is a huge problem. And I think maybe even the fact that silver and gold are going up so much is maybe people running away from, paper, seeing that this tsunami of debt is coming. And yeah, there's also a lot of corporate debt. And the reason this is happening, and I'll let you guys chime in a second, is that they cut rates they slash rates so badly in 2020, 21, like to zero. And the government borrowed trillions and trillions. Everyone borrowed money, and now rates have gone up much more than people thought. So, Phil, I'll have you talk about that.
Oh, it's easy. The Fed will buy the debt.
Okay,
That's who's
that
going to
is
buy the
easy.
debt.
What will that do to gold and silver, Rafi?
I mean, that's gonna destroy the currency. I mean, I don't know if it's gonna do it immediately when they first start buying it, but yeah, they're gonna end up. No one's gonna buy that treasury debt. The
They
Fed's gonna have to
already
monetize.
announced it, them they, and
Yeah,
they're
they're
going to
buying.
be
Yeah, we're
yeah,
back into QE. All we need for the final stroke to fall is for 0% interest rates. So once they go back to 0% interest rates with QE, that should be it.
yeah. So,
Rafi?
anything to add to that, Rafi?
Yeah, I agree. I agree with Phil. The central banks are the ones that are going to buy it. And after the central, not just the Fed, but whatever central bank buys whatever debt, there's going to be the equivalent of all sovereign debt in most countries. Central banks are going to buy that debt, but that's how it's been. And sometimes after the initial burst of central bank buying, you might have some followers who are trying to clip some pennies from a steamroller is what they say, trying to follow the central banks, but that's going to be a pretty minor thing.
Yeah,
Yeah, and then after that, that really should be it. The dollar should be dead after that. It's not going to
yeah.
take much time.
No.
All right. Well,
Uh,
that's it. Good night, everybody. So-
there's a super chat from F. Kavija. Thank you. He says AppMex, SD Bullion, etc. have all raised prices on the weekend. I've never seen that. Well, I saw that in 2021 during the first silver squeeze. I don't know if you remember, Rafi. Some of the dealers weren't even quoting the prices. How far into the end game will we be by April? When will the housing market crash? Um, well, I'll let Rafi answer the part about the end game.
By April, look, we're at the point now where the end of the currency could be any month. Um, I don't know if I would say any week yet. Once we have the cut to zero, I'll say any week. But no, I think we still have months left. I don't think we have more than a year. I know I said that before. Um, but it just I mean I'm looking at my portfolios. I'm shuttling myself back 10, 15 years since I started believing this stuff. And now I see that it's actually happening. I believe it, but I can't believe what I'm actually going through. I've always expected to be right, but then when it's actually happening, it's a totally different feeling. I feel dumbstruck and sort of paralyzed. Not that I
Mhm.
can't do anything, but like I'm thinking, what am I gonna do when all this is happening and people were like begging in the streets? What am I supposed to do? I guess I'll figure it out in the moment, but I don't
Yeah.
know.
You know what's
Um,
driving me nuts is before when gold was or, sorry when silver was sitting at $20 for a year, 2 years, 3 years, and before that it was sitting at $12 forever. People were laughing, "Oh, silver's not going anywhere. Silver's not going. Oh no, silver's not going to go anywhere. You're wasting your time. It's the devil's metal, right?" And now that silver's $80, I go to the same people. I'm like, "Now is your chance to jump on it." Well, now it's I got bills to pay. It's
Yeah.
too expensive. Family members, I'm trying to like get all silver. But they
Well,
just, now it's too expensive. Now they have to save because inflation's getting bad.
yeah,
actually,
quad.
something just happened. Once something just happened. A neighbor of mine, they know I'm a silver stacker. They know I'll buy whatever people offer. So he sends me a WhatsApp and he's like, "Well, my landlady, yeah, I'm not sure if he's saying my landlady because he really wants to sell it to me or he really his landlady. But he's my landlady has 20 ounces and she wants to sell them. Do you want to buy them?" This was back when silver was 70. A long time ago,
Yeah,
right?
back in the old days.
And then like I'm like, sure, can I see them first? Because I want to weigh them, I want to measure them, make sure they're real silver. So he's like, yeah, yeah, I'll come by in the evening. This is like 2 or 3 nights ago. I'll come by in the evening and show them to you. So I'm like waiting for him and nothing happens. So like I see him in synagogue on Shabbat and I was like, what happened? You were supposed to come to my house to show me the coins last night. And then he's like, well, I convinced her to hold off a few more days in case the price goes up. So
Yeah,
you understand that's why the end game happens because once it goes up to at a certain pace, everybody stops selling.
yeah, yeah. Unless you need it. There's someone saying here, Quadman 72. He said, where is it? Oh yeah, do Phil and Rafi know that Rudy, there's the dog, accepts treats and silver coins as Christmas present? Uh, but the reason I brought that up is because when silver is at 37, I uh, I asked Rudy, Rudy, do you like silver? And he started barking. I don't know why. He thought I was saying you want to go for a walk, and I said to him, "Is silver going to 50?" And he went crazy. And I filmed and I put it on X, and then lo and behold, silver went to 50. And then when it went through 50, I said, "Rudy, is silver going to 100?" He went crazy again. So I think Rudy's going to be right about silver. Uh, anyway, there's another super chat here from Kevin Lowe. Thank you, Kevin. Hi, Marion Philip. Are miners still a good bet? Will you be mentioning any ones to look at that might be worth a look. Um, I think I saw you guys know Peter Spinner, don't you?
Yeah.
Yes.
He said that the silver miners are still kind of priced as if silver was at 30. So yeah, I think they're still
So
really.
speaking for myself, I participate with Peter Schiff's gold fund. So I put a buy in. I bought a bunch of stuff once that hit because I said, I want to participate on the launch.
Yeah, I mean, I
I mean,
like to be buying more miners, but right, I bought the limit for my tax-free account here in the UK, so I have to wait till April to add on to it. But it's not a
don't you love
problem.
regulations, Mario? Isn't that just it's just
Yeah,
wonderful,
I mean,
right?
I could buy more on the normal account, but then, I'd have to pay capital gains, and I hate paying anything to government. So,
What I would advise everybody who's considering participating in the
Not
minor,
advised, but like say what
not
you would
advice.
do,
Yes, that's
right?
true.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm not allowed to give advice. That's
yeah,
illegal.
what would you would do? Yeah, what
What I
you?
would do, what I do in fact do, I think of miners as the icing on the cake. You definitely don't want, don't just buy a bunch of miners and think, okay, I'm done. The miners are going to carry me to glory. The miners will have a part to play in carrying you to glory, but you need liquidity as well. So I would definitely
Yeah,
have stacks first. And
yeah,
then if you're sitting there with a bunch of stacks and you're like, well, what do I do with the rest? I don't want to just accumulate more gold and have it sitting around my house being dangerous. Then yeah, then you could think about the miners.
yeah. One thing I did, and I'm glad I did, maybe 6 weeks ago, maybe a month ago, I saw that silver was starting to like overtake gold and outperform. So I put a lot of I switched out of gold miners. I left a small position in Newmont, and then I put a lot more in like silver miners, and that's hopefully that will do well. Rafi, what about you? Any thoughts on the miners?
On the minors, well, just generally, I would focus on the mid tiers if you don't have any yet. Barrick is might be a little interesting because it's been so bad lately, and I think they're restructuring. I don't know what's going on with them or what has been going on. It seems something shady or something weird is going on specifically with Barrick. And Newmont is like the boring pick, but if you want to look into it, it's not that difficult to look into. You look into their balance sheets, you look at their finances, you look at the amount of debt they have, you look at their how much they produce and what they're going to produce over the next 5, 6 years. They have rough estimates and numbers, and then and then plug in a gold price and then see what their earnings would be. That's all you have to do. You could do more, but I'm not a professional miner analyst. I don't know much about geology, so I can't really do that much other than pick companies that other people that I trust
Yeah,
invest in.
yeah,
That's basically how I do it.
yeah.
Yeah, I'm letting Adrian Day run my ship. So,
Yeah, I mean, I have some friends that invest a lot in the miners and they've been in the markets and they give me ideas and vice versa. So that's good as well.
can I ask a question of you two, actually, if you don't mind, Maria?
Uh,
Do you mind if I ask a question for you two?
no?
What do you do? I'm starting to get very concerned about security, just personal security, because as things are starting, as silver's getting haywire, I'm worried, especially as, when silver starts hitting three, four, $500, the utility of me running a show saying, hey, you guys could get some silver is going to diminish because nobody's going to have $500 to spend on silver anymore. But the more people are going to say, hey, maybe this guy's got some silver. So my question is, what are you guys thinking about with security as to the future? Now I've had to vault just about absolutely everything because I'm so nervous about it being a public figure. And I know some of your crowd is going to say, if you don't hold it, you don't own it. But it's really dangerous to go on the internet and announce how awesome gold and silver are, because someone could get the idea that you have a bunch of it on your physical person. So I have to go out there and say, I do not.
Yeah,
I vault
yeah.
everything.
Yeah, no, I think vaulting is the way forward.
Yeah.
And I mean, I have a little bit in my possession, but not much. And yeah, I wouldn't vault it with a bank though. I work with Gold Investments here in London, and they have their own private vault, and they will take you there with your gold and silver, and they'll show you where they put it. They'll give you a certificate stamped, and it's also insured.
Oh,
and
that's great.
the charge isn't that much a year. It's worth it, I think. Or you can also, right, Rafi, get a dirty man safe and put some stuff in there. Yeah, for those of you who don't know, it's you can find a link to Dirty Man Safe in the description of this live stream. That's one way to do it. You can put other stuff in there as well and keep it hidden. What about you, Rafi? That is a problem. What you're saying, the higher gold and silver go, the more dangerous it is to be talking about it.
Yeah, the first thing I did was move out of the city center. So I don't live in Jerusalem or Tel Aviv. I live in a small town far away from other people. And my town is nobody seems to be concerned about anything because a lot of them are like high all the time. So
Yeah, well,
yeah.
to be honest, very few people yeah, ever talk about gold and silver. People that I know, or they have no clue. Everyone's oblivious to what's going on.
Yeah,
Um,
so live among a bunch of um, weed
Like,
heads and have a supply of cannabis just to keep them off your back. And that's, I mean, I'm semi joking about that, but I think it could be useful
yeah,
just to live in a calm town where people don't really care about riches and stuff. And
yeah,
then thieves will go after the city centers first and leave you alone, hopefully.
yeah. I don't really live close to the center of London either, so I'm quite far out of the center.
Did you
Uh,
change your wallpaper? It looks different.
no, we just got rid of it and uh,
Oh.
re refurbished the whole room.
Yeah, well, that changes it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
refurbished it yellow, like gold.
hmm
That's I picked that color. So
good choice.
yeah, yeah. So SMZ or Z 88786. What do you think of Fresnillo and Hochschild? They're the only silver miners on the LSE. Well, I think Fresnillo, they're based in Mexico. They're quoted on the London Stock Exchange. It's the best performing silver miner, I think, this year. And they're owned by like a very big Mexican family, I think. The other one I don't know. Do you guys know about these companies?
I'm not knowledgeable in minors, so I will defer to anybody
Yeah,
else. Like I said, I let Adrian Day run my fund.
Adrian Day. Yeah, I've heard of Adrian
No,
Day. Yeah,
I've heard of Fresnillo. I haven't heard of the other one.
yeah. Golden Sun, thank you for your super chat. Hello from Ann Arbor, Michigan. Any strategy ideas for protecting your precious metals stack from state confiscation, seizure, or restrictions? Appreciated. Well,
Yeah,
as you're in the States, get a gun.
absolutely. Well, so I've been talking. The more I think about this, the less I think it's going to be. I personally am much more worried about zombie hordes than I am about an overbearing state apparatus coming down because the state's going to collapse. It really is. I mean, people. It's hard to imagine this omnipresent state. But in 1989, it was probably impossible to imagine the USSR was collapsing. If you were in the USSR, you would think, oh,
Yeah,
these guys will never go away, and they're never going to leave us alone. Life's going to be the same forever. And then by 91, they were gone, right?
yeah,
So I imagine the same thing is going to happen. We're just it's going there's the zombie horde situation is much more likely than the state. And the zombie hordes you can actually deal with in America because everyone's armed. And I have some stacking neighbors and we've already discussed, we live in a cul-de-sac, so we're already discussing, putting, if it comes to it, parking cars like this across if the street's going down this way, park the cars like this. And then each house is a pillbox, right? So if any zombie hordes come, they're going to be running through a lane of death where there's just pillboxes with guns taking them out as they come in. I've said,
yeah,
we're just theoretically discussing what a zombie horde apocalypse would look like if it came to it, but they stack, so they want to protect their stacks as well. So I was
yeah.
like, this is,
Or
I haven't
also,
gotten to that level where I'm discussing with my labor with my neighbors how to murder the zombie
yeah,
hordes or
yeah,
kill the zombie hordes.
now
I
that won't
haven't
stop.
gotten
That
there.
will once again that will if the government comes in and they've got armed Humvees with 50 cal gunners on top of it, and they've got Bearcats that'll smash through the cars and not that's not going to stop them. But I don't. How are you going to run? Do you know how much logistics it takes to run? a tank and an armored car and get all those people into the car. It takes a lot of logistics. And when it breaks down, you don't have those logistics anymore. They don't exist. So
Yeah.
you're not going to be able to do it. It's just not, you're not going to be able to fuel it. I mean, those things burn, a Bearcat probably burns, 2 gallons a mile or something like that. You're not going to have the fuel to do this to go get people's gold. So
Well,
I think it's good.
the other
Yeah, go
thing
ahead.
I would tell that the guy who asked the question or girl, I don't know, is move to Florida because they're very friendly towards gold and silver. I mean, they've made it legal tender, haven't they, gold and silver?
Yes. In some ways, in
It's
some ways,
in some technical way that doesn't
Yeah.
really count, but
Yeah.
it's a nice symbolic gesture.
Yeah. So
I,
someone's asking what ratio would you hold out for it to change silver to gold? I mean, I always say to people, I don't exchange gold for silver or vice versa. I just try to exchange fiat for both of them. But I guess if silver were to get 1-to-1 to gold, I might think about selling, exchanging silver for gold.
You're really extreme. Wow, 1 to 1. I don't think we're ever gonna get
Well,
there.
what's that guy? He talks about the
Market sniper.
no, not the market sniper. It's he talks about the in Arizona that there's loads of gold in the I'm forgetting things anyway, but he thinks
Okay.
1-to-1. He's on
I'm
YouTube.
gonna start this. I'm gonna start to disgorge maybe 25 to 1, maybe 30 to 1, and then if it gets below 15, I'll start disgorging my silver
Yeah.
furiously. I don't think people understand. It's not like you can just fill your wheelbarrow full of silver and like whistle down to the corner coin shop and exchange it for gold. I don't think things like that are gonna be functioning very well.
No.
And so I think what you're going to be doing is turning your silver into assets. So you're going to go to your neighbors and say, "Hey, I'll buy your house for 100 ounces of silver or whatever."
Yeah.
And then,
Oh, it's the guy from Road to Ruta. What's his name again? Uh,
not
your
sure.
YouTube channel. He thinks it's going 1-to-1. Uh,
I don't know how people think it's actually going to 1 to 1.
oh,
There's
Bix Weir. That's
Yeah,
it.
there's no historical precedent for that one
No.
to one.
No.
And even if you even those arguments that say the supply of silver is a lot lower than gold, I don't think that's true. But even let's say it was, just because the supply of something is lower and the other supply of other thing is higher than thought it was, doesn't mean it's going to go to 1 to 1. It's not entirely dependent on the supply. There's other things involved. And there's a reason why gold to silver has never gone 1 to 1 in history, because that it's just not natural. It's not what it's supposed to do. And there's
No.
a reason why it hangs around 15, 16, 17 to 1 for a long time when both of them are monetary metals and equally used, because that's generally the natural ratio. I mean, the most I could possibly see it going down to is 7 to 1, but the closer that they get, that means the worse off the world is. Like sometime in the Dark Ages, maybe 100 years after Rome fell, then it was like 7 to 1 when there was no society and everyone was dying of plague and famine and war. But like I forget it. Like I don't want to live there,
Yeah.
so I'm hoping it never gets there.
Yeah. Chris Conman, thank you for your super chat. What effect will the rule changes at COMEX that takes place tomorrow have on precious metals pricing? Well, they actually announced it before the close on Friday. They've raised margin, I think 13% for silver, 10% for gold. I mean, I would think that it would hurt the shorts because they're the ones who've been losing money. They're the ones who are in trouble. But at the same time, the shorts are the big banks, so they'll have access to funds from the Fed. But I think the last time they raised margins, silver was at 64 and we're now at 79. So I'm not sure if it's going to work.
I can't follow this anymore. It's like it's
No,
so
no, I don't
surreal.
think it's going to work. And the other thing, they might try what they tried in 1980 with the Hunt brothers. Uh, well, yeah, it was successful. They basically said you can't buy anymore. You can only sell to liquidate. So silver dumped like from 50 to like 10, I don't know, dumped $10 in one day or more. But if they did that now, with the fact that there's other exchanges out there like Shanghai and Dubai, I think it would be the end of COMEX, and that would be really serious, I think, for the Fed not to be able to have some control of the precious metals. Phil, what do you think? Or you don't look at this stuff?
Yeah, I don't know which way this is going to go. I expect because they're doing it, I expect that they think this is going to get silver under control, or at least slow its ascent. I mean, that would be my guess is what they think will happen. Now, whether that's going to happen or not, I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, the
Oh,
market the market is starting to buck the COMEX and the LBMA. They really are starting to say, you know what? We don't want to use the system anymore. We want to go trade directly in the gold and silver itself. So
yeah, I think that's what it is. What's happening is they've manipulated suppressed silver for so long, and we've had this deficit for 5 years, and now silver's becoming so important with the world splitting apart, like in multilateral like blocks that people you can't build missiles with futures, can you? Physical. John Moran, thank you for your super chat. He's asking, oh, and I meant to ask you guys about this. Is Asian guy a CCP psyop? I'm sure you guys have seen this guy's popping videos on silver every hour or so. I mean, a lot of what he says I agree with. But yeah, I don't know what he is, but he seems to take information like from people like us and others and really
distill it.
distill it. Rafi, have you
Yeah.
seen
Oh,
this guy, Asian?
I don't know what they're talking about. Like you're saying, people take us and distill us into like
Asian
a
guy.
vodka version of ourselves.
Yes.
Well,
Yeah,
it's an
there's this.
AI bot. This guy here, let me bring it up. Can
Okay.
share it.
Yeah, there's this AI guy, and he's got a few channels. I mean, it's an AI, but it looks like this Asian dude, and he just
Yeah,
talks about silver, and he's pushing out videos a lot. Yeah,
yeah. He's also on X. The grand
That
scale of Asian guy videos. You're witnessing a government operation. Information war is real.
okay.
He's good though.
I'm not paying attention. Look, to tell you the truth, I've been paying less and less attention to the precious metals news as silver has been going more and more insane because I just know that everything I'm going to see is just people freaking out in one direction or another and saying a whole bunch of stuff that nobody has any corroboration of. So I've kind of just like toned it down and I'm just hanging out with my family and checking the spot price, 2, 3 times a day and just taking it easy. And the thing that's causing me the most stress right now is deciding should I liquidate the rest of my SLV call options or should I hang on for another few days because like I never had gains like this ever and losing them would be very emotionally distressing. I think more distressing than selling now and not gaining not running with all the possible gains. So I'm actually considering
you could
getting out of
split the
the
baby.
options this
Yeah,
week. Yeah.
get out
Split the
of
baby, sell half, sell
half of
another
it.
half. Yeah,
Yeah, get out of half of it.
yeah,
I
sell half and
could.
ride half to the end. So
You
you
know,
ride half
sometimes
up to
it's
the
so
middle.
volatile. I've seen because I worked as a futures and options broker. I've seen markets be so volatile that uh, like you could see the market go down, and if you had a call, it actually went up in price, which is weird
I
because
think
the
that happened in
volatility.
2020.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah, yeah. Belly Dance Arabia, thank you for your super chat. Uh, yeah, Hawk Shield Mining is in the FTSE 250. I think I've heard of it, but like I said, I don't know about that company. But I think Fresnillo is a good silver miner to have. Uh, Mario, visit Yuma, Iceland, and Brazil. Well, I was born in
Interesting
Brazil,
picks.
so I don't need to visit Brazil. Maybe Yuma, isn't that in Arizona? Isn't there
Yeah,
a movie about?
yeah, 310 to Yuma.
Yeah, that was a good Western. Iceland, I haven't been to.
It's the graffiti capital of the world.
Iceland?
And it also has the penis museum.
Where's that?
It's in Iceland. It's in
Oh, is
Reykjavik.
it? Yeah,
Yeah.
the Penis Museum.
Yeah, it's for all the mammals in the world.
Oh, okay. It's not okay. Oh, someone's asking JM9049, what do you think of dollar cost averaging for miners? Well, I think it's a great idea, actually. That's basically what I do, or whenever I have spare uh, savings that I can put in the miners, I'll buy it. I don't wait for dips or anything because I think the miners are going a lot higher. So I'm not gonna like mess around for a dollar or $2. Yeah.
I just put my miners on dividend reinvestment, and they've been that way for years.
Mm.
So like I don't really touch them at all. I mean, the
Yeah.
last few miners I've gotten were when I had some sponsorships, and I want to go long the if someone wants to sponsor my channel, I go long, and I think they're a good company, obviously. Then
Yeah.
I buy some of their shares,
Yeah.
and those are all my only new buys. Otherwise, I just let it run.
Yeah. One that I did a video for a sponsor last year was Vizsla Silver, and I have that, and that's done really well. I think that's a good company. I'm
I
not.
would the way I think of miners, here's the way I think of this. Silver is for the panic, gold is for after the panic, and then miners are for about 5 to 10 years after the panic. So, because
Mm.
if
That
you
sounds
watch if
about right. Yeah.
yeah, if you watch the mining shares after 1929, the mining companies they went
Oh
absolutely
yeah,
ballistic. So
Homestake Mining was up
Homestake,
500.
yeah, and
The
it
thing
went up straight up for a decade. So that
I,
a decade later was the best time to sell Homestake. So
I think the miners are going to become like where they produce the money because we're going away from fiat into gold and silver. So yeah, and I hear that like a lot of companies and sovereign countries, they're buying straight from the mines now because they can't access, like I've heard of central banks going to COMEX or JP Morgan and they want physical and they say, no, you can't have it. So they go straight to the mines. Now, hopefully the mines won't be selling too much of their production forward. Hopefully they realize that we are in a paradigm shift. But anyway, Belly Dance Arabia, thank you again for your super chat. He says, protect your wealth plus soul by reading your Bible daily.
you
Uh,
know
It's a good
what's
idea.
gonna
yeah,
say, do you know what's amazing, Mario? Is I am 43 years old. I have the beginnings. I'm losing my hair. I have the beginnings of arthritis in one of my hips, and I have never in my life known honest money. Like I have never gone to the
no,
store and given a silver unit of silver or an honest note of gold to a store for something. So this is, I mean, the abrupt change back to honest money is just going to be just mind blowing.
yeah,
I
I've
mean,
never,
imagine going to whatever, like a corner store and
well,
giving a silver dime
yeah.
for, whatever it is, the bubble gum and the soda or whatever,
Well, I was born in 1964, but I was in Brazil. I mean, it was even worse there.
Yeah.
We've had so much inflation there. It's one of the reasons that I got interested in money and inflation because I grew up, we had different, resets and currencies. But yeah,
I'm curious. I'm curious if the governments will be able to reinflate after, like, will they be able to start this process again right away, or if it's going to be sound money across the world for a while? What do you think, Rafi?
No, I don't. Once it collapses, there's no way to rebuild. The only way that you can rebuild quickly is if there's still part of the pyramid that exists. Like if a dollar derivative hyperinflates, then that derivative goes away and you can rebuild based on the dollar, which is pretty quick because all you need to to rebuild based on the dollar is the agreement of the Fed and the U.S. government that they'll help your currency IPO by investing in your economy or whatever deal they have, and that's one of the ways that America has conquered the world by whenever a currency collapses, they come in with whatever bailout and deal that they make, and they say, look, structure your central bank like this, and then you'll be a colony of ours, and you'll buy our debt, and then we'll restart your economic system, your monetary system. But this time, if it's the dollar itself that's hyperinflating, there's no rebuilding anytime soon. It's going to take decades.
yeah, yeah. Well, yeah, I was looking at the Dow Gold ratio. Every time it goes down to around one, like in 1933 and 1980. It's like the bottom of the it's the credit bust, and then in the next 20, 30 years, everything grows again. So Rafi is saying that he thinks it's going to take a lot longer for it to rebound. The
Yeah.
yeah. Okay, that's a good point because yeah, the dollar yeah, when the dollar goes, yeah, there's nothing else but gold and silver. Ounces app, thank you for your super chat. Yeah, and by the way, Ounces app, is your app only on Apple still, or are you doing it on Android? Let us know. And it's really good. It's for if you have gold, silver, platinum, and palladium, you can keep track of the value of your holdings. You put, let's say I've got 1 ounce of gold, 100 ounces of silver. It updates second by second what it's worth in fiat. So it's a good app to have. But he's asking the question, what are the odds of China reversing their export restrictions on silver in exchange for the US removing tariffs on China? What effect would reversing export restrictions have on silver? Uh, I personally don't think they're going to reverse this, and I don't think the US is going to back down on tariffs. So I don't think the odds are that good. Um,
This is a very short-term concern. I once the end game hits, like all this is gonna be just water under the bridge, be forgotten about because no one's gonna want to trade with us anyway for quite some time. America anyway, until we start making stuff again. I mean,
yeah,
no one's gonna give us anything. No, right now, the entire world is just giving us stuff in exchange for the notes, and no one's gonna
right.
do
Yeah,
that anymore. And it's gonna be rough for the Americans because we haven't made anything in a while.
yeah. Rafi?
Um, I don't know. I can't speak to that question specifically, but I did see on Bloomberg that there's a pure play silver fund that's traded in Shanghai. That all this like there was like these rumors in Chinese social media that everyone has to buy silver, so they all started buying this one fund. And the article's on Bloomberg. If you Google on Bloomberg silver, and it's in the past 3 days. I think it was updated December 28th, but the net asset value of this fund, which basically invests in Chinese silver futures, the premium is so high that the manager of the fund basically cut off any new buyers from buying it because he's saying there's too much demand here. We can't support all this demand, and if silver takes a downturn, then all these people are going to be wiped out. So he basically shut down his fund because it's going too high too fast. So that gives me, pause to think that, this I don't think this is what's happening right now is the end game. We have to wait for a cut to zero for that to happen. This is some kind of like preview, and I don't know how much longer it's going to last. And I could easily see silver crashing to maybe even 45 or 50 or something around there very quickly, like within days, and then there'd be some kind of deflationary scare, and then from there the printing on, and then we just slingshot back up. But things are going to get volatile in both directions. Silver's not just going to keep going up and up and up day after day after day like we've seen. There's going to be one more plunge down. I don't know how far and how fast, but I'm almost sure it's going to happen.
Yeah. No, I agree. Indy 5542, thank you for your super chat. If you buy a house property for metal, how do you make it binding if offices are closed? Forgive me if I missed it and was already said. What do you mean by offices? I mean, I guess a notary or a lawyer. You want to?
Yeah, this is a question. How do you buy property if the government is not extant to,
Oh,
or it's too disorganized to recognize the transfer of the title? The best answer I can come up with is a bill of sale. So you just get the contract, you get like a contract, stamped by lawyers that says, I have bought this property from you. We just haven't done the title part yet. And then you take the bill of sale to the title, when the lights come back on. That's the best idea I can come up with. Now, there is a risk, there is a risk associated with that where, the lights come back on and suddenly the guy's like, oh, I didn't really mean that, and then you got to go into court and the judge has to decide is the contract binding or not. But the good news is, I mean, and there's a risk. The good news is, if 100 ounces of silver buys a house, that means the 100 ounces of silver buys a house and the title is transferred to me. So if I just get a contract for a house future, then maybe that's only worth, 80 ounces of silver, something like that. So the more risky the play, the cheaper it will be. So you can
Yeah.
negotiate the price. If they can't give you the physical title, you can negotiate the price down.
And I guess it depends who you're dealing with. If you know the person and
Yeah.
he moves out of the house, lets you move in, and you give him the silver, you know,
That's another thing. If you move the person out, it's gonna be a lot harder for them to say that they didn't mean to sell you the house, you know?
yeah,
If you move the person out and if you buy the house and you let the person live there and then the lights come back on and they could say, "Oh, I just thought it was a loan. I didn't think I was actually selling them the house. Here's your 100 ounces of silver back," you know? The judge might say, "Well, okay, who knows what a judge is going to come up with,
yeah,
right?" But if you physically move them out and put somebody else in, it's going to be really hard for them to come
yeah,
back.
that's right.
Yeah.
SMZ is asking, please ask Rafi if the repo market has imploded. There's a rumor the Fed had to bail out the silver shorts for 17 billion. Well, that was this Asian guy. Uh,
Nah, that's I think that's fluff. That's nothing. I
yeah,
think
I
it's made
mean, I
up.
saw there's 17 billion in repo operations on Friday.
No, that has nothing to do with the silver market at all.
And
That's
well,
that's
that
just AI trying to get clicks. That's
yeah, I think that he can't. He has no idea, this Asian guy, of knowing that this was to bail out the bullion banks. It could have been for something else. So yeah, that's what I would say. But yeah, the repo market is kind of yeah, it's starting to like show that people are concerned about the banks a little bit, don't you think, though? If compared to like since 2022, there's not no activity, and now all of a sudden we're seeing a bit more.
yeah. That's why the Fed restarted QE about
Yeah,
40 billion a
yeah,
month
yeah,
because of the repo market. So they've already come in to save it before it crashed. And the only question now is when do they have to up the dose? And that should be pretty soon too.
yeah. Ryan Morosi, Mario, do you still recommend silver options? Well, only if you're really familiar with options. I wouldn't trade options if you knew nothing about options. But I'm not doing anything in options right now because yeah, I wouldn't even be doing silver options. I know Rafi's got SLV, but he's had it for a long time. But right now, getting involved in options, it's so volatile that your broker might even like not pick up, or they might freeze the screen. It happened in 2020. So yeah, I think just owning the miners and the physical metal, you do really well. So forget about, options, I would say. Is that what you would tell someone, guys?
That's what I would tell some. I don't, unless you're an expert at this, and even then, I don't think you need. I mean, silver is going to turn into, like it's going to just, it's going to go up so fast, it's going to melt people's faces off. So why do you need, like, where does this come from that you need a leveraged play on
I know.
that?
Yeah, we've
You need
already
to,
gone from below 30 to 80 this
yeah,
year.
I mean, you're talking about a world where like 100 ounces of silver buys a house. So why do you need to take a leverage play on that? Like what you can buy, you can own, a normal person can own a few houses,
Yeah.
you know?
I posted on X today that because there's a lot of talk, oh, silver's doing this because of this, and it's fine, fundamentals. But the underlying thing, I think, is that silver's been kept down for so long. And, if we had a 15 to 1 today, silver gold to silver ratio, silver would be at 302 calculated. So $80 is still really low. It's just that you got to hold on to it and be patient. I know it took 45 years to break that teacup, but now that it's broken, it's going to be a lot quicker, I think.
Yeah,
Yeah,
well,
and the
sorry, silver is low compared to any measure except for dollars. It's low versus stocks. It's low versus gold. It's low versus no, no, tie versus commodities. What's the other thing? It's low versus, yeah, the Dow, the S&P, and gold,
Yeah.
and bonds also.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and if you do want silver for pennies on the dollar, you can invest in the miners because the miners are a great way to get silver for pennies on the dollar. So once again, and I guess the real play would be a leveraged play on junior silver miners, right? Just
Yeah.
borrow a ton and go long on the silver miners.
Buy calls and sell puts on them.
Yeah.
SSKKE2EP, thank you for your super chat. Will it be bad to own rental property when the collapse comes?
Probably you're gonna have to juggle this. So the problem with owning rental property is no one's gonna have any money to pay rent. So you're gonna knock on the door and say you got to give me some silver to pay rent, and it's gonna be like a 1930 where just they don't have anything. They're like I'll give you my coat. You can have my coat, or you can take one of my shoes.
Yeah.
I don't know. They're gonna try and offer stuff.
And it depends.
I'll labor for you.
It depends where you are as well. Here in the UK, this Labour government, they want to tax and punish like people who have rental properties.
Hmm.
So
Well,
yeah,
what I was thinking to do with rental properties isn't exactly to like rent it to people who promise to pay me rent and then collect rent. My plan is to buy a bunch of property with gold and silver that I have. I don't know I don't have any idea how much. It depends what the prices are. But and then house my friends that I know they don't have money, but they have skills. And then just say, look, for 6 months to a year, just live here, maintain the property. If they're handy, they can fix things, and just keep it up. And you can leave it for free as long as you keep it in good shape. And then we'll talk in 6 months to a year and see where we are.
yeah,
That's exactly right. And that's the reason the house is 100 ounces of silver, right? That's the reason you can buy it is because no one can take any productive rent out of it right now,
yeah.
right?
No
So
one and no one will have except people who have silver. No one will have a currency that is worth anything. Um,
yep.
Kevin Lowe, thank you for your super chat. Hi guys, can you mention a NY mid-risk silver miners trading? I don't understand that. 8-1-14-1 worth looking at. Sorry,
Mm.
Kevin. Can you maybe do you understand that question?
If it's a minor, I cannot recommend.
No.
I'm not a minor guy, so
I'm not either. I hold minors, but I don't study them.
people
Like,
keep asking me about minors.
yeah, yeah. I'm sorry, Kevin. Maybe if you could rephrase that question, I might. After the gold rush, thank you for your super chat. Um, I've looked at buying 1 kilogram bags of pre-1920 silver coins online. 16% premium is reasonable as things are at the moment. Definitely. These are in the UK pre 1920. They're all like 925.
What's so special about pre-1920?
They're like they're 925 silver, sterling silver.
What happened after 1920?
They
Not
went off the
well,
silver standard.
they yeah, well they took half of the silver out. So from 1920 till 1947, UK coinage had only 50% silver. So
Oh,
we've been off silver here since 1947, actually, not 1964, mainly because of World War One. That was to pay World War One, probably
mhm.
pay the American bankers for the loans.
So anything before 1920 is 92.5%, 925.
That's
Okay.
Yeah, I
Because
have
I got a half crown. There's a bald guy on it. I forgot what his name is.
one of the Edwards, and maybe I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I don't remember if it's before 1920 or not, but well, we'll see.
Yeah,
I don't know. I'll check it.
yeah. Will you ever talk to Chris Dwayne? Has anyone on the panel spoken to him?
Never heard of him. Chris who?
Chris Dwayne, I've heard of him. I mean, I've heard of him for years, but I don't know how to get in touch with him. He used to be like in this family business, selling cars, and then he became real, like a silver guy, and
Okay.
he's quite radical, I
Doing
think.
okay there, Rafi?
Yeah, I'm tired.
No, I haven't. I mean, I see him sometimes on X posting stuff. what else have we got? Hmm. Someone saying Rafi is super high. No, I think Rafi is just tired.
No, I'm not high at all. Nope.
uh, so what do you guys like? Let's say, what do you think? Where do you think silver could go? I don't know if you've heard of Cliff High, um,
Yeah.
because I used to read his stuff, his
He
alt.
thinks I'm an alien from the planet
Uh,
whatever.
well, no, but I used to read his research back in '07 when I was still working in the markets, the Alta report. He does this language analysis. And he said back then, I see that silver would trade to $600. And at the time, it was like 5 or 7. And I thought it was pretty crazy. But now, where we are, I think is more and more possible.
So
Well,
this is my
according to my data, Mario, I've found okay, anyway.
so this is my next video. I'll give you guys a sneak peek on what I'm working on. The this doesn't the dollar thing doesn't matter because the dollar is disintegrating before our very eyes. The truth is silver is money, so silver actually is the y-axis itself. When you look at something and it says price over time, right? If you have potatoes and it shows price over time, on a silver standard, the price is silver. The y-axis is silver. How many units of silver are you going to give up to get this bag of potatoes? Right? So silver is actually the y-axis, and so is gold. So it doesn't matter what the price of silver is in corrupted gold notes, except for right now, people need to send in corrupted gold notes to get units of silver. But as far as like a long-term pricing, I don't care at all. I know where we're going to. I know we're going to be back on a silver and gold standard. So I just have silver so it could be the y-axis so I
Yeah,
know how many silver units of silver I need to get a bag of potatoes.
yeah, I think you're right. We need to stop thinking about, what the price of silver and gold are in fiat dollars because eventually we're going to be using them as money to exchange uh, a weight of silver or gold for for goods and services. And people might think, oh, that's going to be complicated, but humans adapt quite quickly and they
Yeah,
learn.
people
I
figure it
mean,
out.
It
I
can't possibly be more complicated than the fiat system we're currently in.
yeah, I know. Yeah, I've seen in Venezuela they take like gold powder and they weigh it in the supermarket, and it's really like really it's quicker than like using fiat. They're like used to it. Um, Ryan Morosi, what's the normal price one has to pay to sell precious metals? To sell? Well, it depends on the dealer. I mean, I see here in the UK, they're paying like just a little over spot if you want to sell silver. Like the price is around £58, and you can get 61, which is pretty good. But it depends, if silver gets scarcer and scarcer, they might be desperate. They might start paying 5 or 10% for people who want to sell. But
Yeah,
unless
I
you
would only
really,
short of the end game. I personally would only sell if silver like really spiked up and I could like pay off my house mortgage with just a like maybe like 50 ounces of silver or something. I might do that just to be able to get the deed before the lights go out. But other than that, like barring distress, I would not sell anyway. So I don't know.
yeah. So what happens to people's jobs, wages when the dollar collapses? I'm already weighing up how much longer I'm willing to work for a diminishing wage. Well, I would say, look at third world countries, what happens there. They've had the same thing happen many times. Things are just tough, you know.
Yeah.
You're just gonna struggle. Everything is gonna be harder to get, harder to do. It's gonna be harder to sell real estate, harder
I mean,
to.
even things, even the stackers are going to have a tough time because things like socks are all made in Bangladesh and Thailand, and Thailand's not going to give us any more socks. So we're going to have a period of I have no idea how long it'll be where there'll be an existing sock inventory, but there's not going to be any sock manufacturers until we get them up and running again. So yeah, it's going to take time, but the entrepreneurs will start making socks. So
Well, I remember my grandmother used to make dresses for my mom,
Yeah,
and
people are going to start doing that again. Absolutely. That's what I'm looking forward to
you
is the return
need
of
a
national identity.
sewing machine.
Yep.
That's a good thing.
Yeah, the globo homo, like everyone dresses the same, and there's no national like America will go back to its national. We might have new national clothes. I don't know if we're going to go back to like the prairie dresses of the 1800s, but people are going to have national clothes again. It's going to be like, well, in America you dress like this. When you're in Europe, different countries in Europe you dress like this. Israelis are going to dress like Israelis, like Rafi.
Mm.
Yeah,
Yeah, my actually this shirt is 25 years old.
really? That's
Yeah.
How do you know that? How do you date your shirts?
Because this
you
is
remember.
it's a camp shirt that I got from sleepaway camp. I only wear it in the winter because it's like one of my few long sleeve shirts.
Okay. So Gianfranco Bergani is saying in Italy we do wonderful socks. So there you go. Yeah, Italy is quite has a pretty bu big industrial base still. Italy. Yeah. Monaco 64, will you get AI guy on the channel? I think it's gonna be hard to get him on. AI guy. I thought about that actually. If you look at his main channel, there is an email where you can contact them or him or
Is there
whatever.
a guy behind it or is it just AI running it?
I
Wow,
don't know.
that would be meta if
Mhm.
Skynet had started and it was a silver guy.
I saw that on X. He's got like 8,000 followers, and he follows one person only, and it's Elon Musk, which is weird.
Well, all AI has to do is figure out that gold and silver and money and it can crash the fiat system itself.
But I have to say, some of the stuff he says is like makes a lot of sense, but he makes a lot of things up as well, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because he does. It's not a conscious entity. It's just text harvesting. So yeah,
Yeah,
of course it's gonna
yeah,
make
yeah.
it's gonna get some Ed Steer and it's gonna get some David Morgan and then it's gonna get some Cliff High and some Bix Weir and you're gonna get a smorgasbord of those guys.
Yeah, he mentioned actually he mentioned Jeff Christian and David Morgan today. I mean, I wouldn't be listening to Jeff Christian personally,
I
but
wonder what he's saying these days. That would
yeah,
be interesting.
yeah.
I'm always interested to hear Jeff Christian because like it's not something that I would usually think of, and sometimes I find him um at least intriguing. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Uh, if precious metals are tokenized, what would the process be? People hand in metal for a token to JP Morgan or BlackRock?
That sounds trustworthy. Let's all do
Yeah,
that.
yeah. No, I wouldn't be using tokenized silver or gold because they're not real. I think it will be a long time until people trust financial institutions to hand in their
Yeah.
gold and silver for like a promissory note or a token. Because token means that it's not real, it's a token. So yeah, anyway. Uh, yeah, we're at the end here, guys. One thing I would say, and I'll have you guys say what you want in a minute, is for the viewers. Yeah, I think what Rafi said earlier is a good idea. Try to switch off a little bit, enjoy your life, your family. Yeah, keep an eye on things, but don't get too bogged down on. I mean, there's so much stuff on X, like the Bitcoin guys saying, "Oh, I'm selling all my silver and buying Bitcoin and all that." They're just silly and trying to scare people. So yeah, and yeah, just sit tight and hold on. At least I have been doing this for years. And like Rafi said, it feels weird that we're here now at $80. It's almost unbelievable because I always thought the bankers would be able to keep things under control, but I think they're losing control. So, Phil,
Yeah, I'll finish. The techno dystopia is not possible. We will. Mad Max is possible, but I think unlikely. Those are the two scenarios I keep hearing about. So don't worry about the techno dystopia. The people once this goes, the people will be done with notes and tokenization for probably a couple generations. It's just like in 19, the people that went through the Great Depression, like they never put their money in a bank, right? They buried it always in the backyard, and they were kind of weird about it. They were like the ones who were reusing the tea bags and washing the aluminum foil because they went through so much poverty. They kept their money buried in a backyard. They didn't want to deal with banks ever again, right? So it's going to be generations before once people get burned by this. So we're going to go into it's going to be tough, but it's a golden age will be on the other side because once you trade in honest weights and measures, you can actually be paid for what your value is. So a factory worker is going to make the equivalent of something like $120,000 in today's dollars again, right? And with 120, 140, $150,000, you can have a family of four on a single income, or a family of five, or a family of six. So all these societal pressures that have been ruining us are a result of inflation. And once those pressures go away, we can go back to prosperous, happy living again.
Rafi?
My turn. I'll say something doesn't have to do with silver specifically, but it's something that my family is doing. If you have any chronic medication that you need, like my wife has hypothyroidism, so she needs thyroxine. So we're starting to stock up on that. Just have, a year or two supply, just so we don't have to worry about it while things go weird and crazy. If you're a diabetic and you need insulin, stock up on insulin now. If you have any other chronic medications you need for whatever management, whatever condition you might have, stock up now. You don't go crazy. You only need like a 10-year supply. I think we'll be back online in a year or two. But um, just make sure you have what you need for a while because we're about to go dark.
Okay. Thank you, Rafi and Phil. Thank you for the viewers. And I guess the next live stream will be in 2026. So I'm going to wish all of you a happy new year.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Prosperous.
thank you very much. So enthusiastic, Rafi. Thanks so
Sorry.
much, Mario, for having us
You're
on.
welcome. You're welcome. Let me just end
Like
this.
Eeyore, Rafi.
No, I'm
Happy New
I'm
Year.
cycling through.